Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology, and today we will cover a new topic, namely understanding the concept of Indu Lagna in Vedic astrology. So what exactly is this Indu Lagna? Okay, now when we cast a birth chart, we have something called as the ascendant or the first house, which is actually the sign rising on the eastern horizon at the time of our birth. Okay, and our ascendant actually indicates the purpose of our soul in life. So if you see where the ascendant lord is placed, generally that house will tell you towards which field you have an inclination and what exactly is the purpose of your soul on this earth. Okay, but Indu Lagna is a special type of Lagna which is different from the main Lagna. Indu Lagna mainly tells us the source of a native's wealth. Okay, and the main thing is his ability to sustain that wealth in the long term. Okay, so Indu Lagna is all about sustenance of wealth, sustenance of resources which you receive in this life. Okay, and therefore it is also known as the financial or wealth ascendant of the native. Okay, now to calculate the Indu Lagna, we first have to create a table wherein a fixed number of points representing the brilliance of planets is assigned to the 7 planets. Rahu and Ketu are excluded from the calculation of Indu Lagna. So now let us look at this table in the next slide. So before we calculate Indu Lagna, as I mentioned in the previous slide, certain brilliance points or kalas are assigned to the 7 planets. So the sun is assigned 30 brilliance points, moon is assigned 16 brilliance points, Mars is assigned 6 brilliant points. Okay, remember Mercury is assigned 8 brilliant points and Jupiter is assigned 10 brilliance points. Venus is assigned 12 brilliance points and Saturn is assigned only 1 brilliance point here. So you just need to remember this table to calculate the Indu Lagna. Now for the example which I am going to show you, just remember that Mercury gets 8 points and Jupiter gets 10 points. Okay, and based on this, in the subsequent slides we will calculate the Indu Lagna. Now what exactly are these kalas? Kalas are nothing but brilliance points assigned to the planets. Okay, God is said to be Paripurna or complete and he has 84 brilliance points. Okay, if you sum this table, it comes to 83 brilliance points, and these 83 brilliance points are distributed among the 7 planets. Now for this sample horoscope, let us calculate the Indu Lagna. Okay, now this horoscope is of a Libra ascendant. Okay, that is when this person was born, the sign rising on the eastern horizon was Libra. So I have mentioned this as the first house, and in blue font I have mentioned ascendant. So his main ascendant is the Libra ascendant. Now to calculate the Indu Lagna, first look at the 9th lord or the 9th house from the ascendant. Okay, so if you count 9 squares in the clockwise direction from the sign of Libra, which is the first house, you will reach the 9th house, which is labeled as 9th house. 9th from ascendant, owner is Mercury. Okay, so the owner of the 9th house from the ascendant is Mercury. Now in the previous table, remember Mercury got 8 points. Okay, likewise you look at the 9th house from the moon and see who is the lord of that 9th house. Okay, so now in this case the moon is placed in the sign of Aries, alright, which is the 7th house in this horoscope. Count 9 squares from where the moon is placed, including the square where the moon is placed in the clockwise direction. Okay, and then you will reach the sign of Dhanu or Sagittarius, which is the 3rd house. So this is the 9th house from the natal moon, that is the moon placed in your horoscope at the time of birth. So what we are doing is, we are basically noting down the ninth house lords from the ascendant and the moon. That is, you note down the lord of the ninth house from the ascendant, you note down the lord of the ninth house from the moon. Okay, so lord of ninth house from the birth ascendant is Mercury. Okay, because the ninth house is Gemini and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Alright, the lord of the ninth house from the moon is Jupiter or Guru. Okay, and the ninth house from the moon is the sign of Sagittarius. In this chart, it is represented as the third house. Okay, so these are the first two steps which I have shown in the orange squares. Now, in the previous table, remember Mercury got 8 points, Jupiter got 10 points. Okay, so you just add these 2 points, that is 10 plus 8, and divide it by 12. Alright, so you are getting 18 by 12. What is the remainder of 18 by 12? It is 6, correct? So now you count 6 squares from where the moon is placed in this horoscope and you will reach the Indu Lagna. So now moon is placed in the sign of Aries. Start counting from this sign 6 squares. So you count Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, and you reach the 12th house Virgo, where I have shown the Indu Lagna in the blue font. Okay, so what this means is that for this person, the Indu Lagna is placed in the 12th house. Okay, so 12th house here is very important for his wealth. Okay, it will indicate his ability to sustain wealth in the long term. So whenever a benefic planet transits the Indu Lagna, okay, then it gives a great amount of wealth. Also, if there are benefic planets in the 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th, 2nd and 11th house from the Indu Lagna, okay, the person will have an ability to sustain his wealth over a long term. Alright, and when benefic planets transit the Indu Lagnas or the Kendra from the Indu Lagna, that is the 1st, 4th, 7th, 10th house from the Indu Lagna, the person will receive a lot of wealth. Okay, if the dasha of the planet transiting the Indu Lagna is running and this planet which is transiting the Indu Lagna is a benefic planet, again it gives the native a great amount of wealth. So Indu Lagna is all about sustenance of wealth. It tells us whether this person will be able to sustain wealth in the long term or not, and it can also help us to predict the time period when the person may receive great amount of wealth. So this is the significance of Indu Lagna. There is one more type of Lagna called as Shri Lagna. I will cover that in a separate video later. For the time being, I have just explained what is Indu Lagna. So guys, this was my understanding of Indu Lagna. Just there are two special cases. In the step number 3, if the remainder came as 0, okay, then the 12th house from the moon becomes the Indu Lagna. If the remainder came as 1, then the sign where the moon is placed, that itself becomes the Indu Lagna. So these are two special cases which we must remember. Otherwise, the calculation which I showed you is valid and the remainder will always be between 0 and 11. So if you like this video, please mark it as liked on YouTube. Okay. You can also watch our other videos on our YouTube channel Kamath Astrology by subscribing to the channel. The subscription is absolutely free. You can reach out to us by writing to us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com. Okay, you can also visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. Simply type this URL in your browser and you can reach out to us. So guys, thanks a lot. Hope to see you soon with another video shortly. Bye. Have a nice day.